Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new series of Rag Plays, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This series has been a long time coming and I'm super excited to be playing this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time and I really want to do it justice by showing off many of the community-made mods that have come out over the years, over the past decade or so. I've spent at least a month now compiling and editing them together to where they're in a workable format. I think there are 58 of them total. Yeah, that's the number, 58, and I hope I did everything right. If things don't go well, I'll just I'll revert back to the base game mid game. But I've been doing this quite a while. I started doing it early in like 2007-ish, and I've had quite some experience modding this game, so I don't expect there to be any trouble. I think I've got the compatibility now. In addition to the mods, this is going to be a roleplay. I'm going to be playing a pre-made character that I've thought up on my own, and I've elaborated some of his motivations, his desires, his wants, and who he is as a person, and that was in the previous episode to this one. I hope you all enjoyed that. I did my best with it. I'm not a writer by any means, but I think it served as a good enough launching point for what we're about to do here. I haven't given any thought, I'm pointing to my head right now, I don't know why I'm doing that, I haven't given any thought to exactly what the character is going to be beyond a soldier. The skills, the stats, the feats, I haven't thought about. We're going to have to think about them now. So, let's get into it, and let's play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I'm ready to go. New game. Okay, so character generation. We have the choice between males or females. There are 3 classes: Scoundrel, Scout, and Soldier. And we are going to pick the soldier. We are not going to do a quick character, we are going to do a custom character. And our portrait, first of all. So, generally speaking, when I play the game, or when I did play the game in the past, just take a look at all the heads here. That one's okay. That one's okay. They're you know, I can't remember where the one it was that I used to play. It's been about 10 years, well not 10 years, 7 years since I played this game. The last time I played was in tandem with a friend just like Aiden, and it was fun. It was a different experience, guiding someone through the game, and I really enjoyed that. But our head is going to be, I like that one quite a lot, if not for the reddish hair, I guess. It kind of looks red on my screen. I don't know if it does on yours. I'm hoping the audio is okay for this for this episode as well. I did some testing and I think it's pretty much okay. Kind of nervous right now. I haven't started an LP in quite some time. Brush cut guy. This is my normal face. I usually pick him, and people tend to pick this guy a lot. I don't quite know why that is. Might be because he's the only PC with long hair. But we're not going to break tradition. This is going to be the face of Telemachus Riken, the character that we established in the first video. So now that we have his appearance taken care of, let's sort out his attributes. So I'm going to have to reread over this, and this video I wouldn't expect to be much more than character creation, because I'm gonna try and go in depth, and I have to give myself a refresher on at least what each of these things do. Strength. Strength measures physical power. A high strength adds modifiers to melee damage and a chance to hit, which is important for characters who use close combat weapons. Now, based on Telemachus' background that we established in the first video, he has a fondness of melee weapons. He's fascinated by melee weapons, but also other weapons in general. And being a soldier, I imagine it would have given him a lot of access to practice it in his free time as well when he was in the Republic Navy. It was good because during the Mandalorian Wars, the Mandalorians tended to engage in melee a lot, and so the Republic had to react to that by issuing their soldiers and officers melee weapons, namely vibro swords, vibro blades, things like that. So everything, I think, at least with strength, we're going to have it so there's no negatives. KotOR uses the D20 system, and you generally don't want anything to be negative, or you'll be taking, you know, unless you make a dump stat. If there's something that you're just not gonna use very much, then it's probably okay. But strength, I haven't decided on our course of action yet, but strength is going to be at least 10, so we don't have any negatives. Dexterity. Dexterity measures agility and reflexes. A high dexterity adds modifiers to ranged attack rolls, blasters, grenades, and increases a character's defense rating, making them harder to hit. Now, if I was going to play a blaster type character, this would be the stat that I would pick, but seeing as how I'm not going to be that, at least not for long, not past the first planet, I certainly don't want it any higher than, I'm going to put it to even, because I don't want negatives, if I can help it. Next up is Constitution. And by the way, Strength measures the chance to hit with a melee weapon. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I guess that's a flaw in the D20 system. Really, if anything, Dexterity should govern the chance to hit with melee weapons. Strength, I suppose, maybe for damage, but generally speaking, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about strength as a stat in general. It's not super important. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to use a weapon, so it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that 2-hit is tied to strength. I guess it's for the sake of streamlining the system. Anyway, Constitution represents health and resiliency. A high Constitution adds modifiers to the vitality points gained at each level up. This is important for everyone, but essential for soldiers and Jedi Guardians. We are a soldier. So Constitution adds modifiers to the vitality points gained at each level up. So this gives us more health. If this gives us more health, then Dexterity is not particularly important because we can just soak damage. That's going to 10 at least until I figure out what else we're going to do. I don't want negatives on it. But all this does is, I believe, increase our fortitude saves, as well as, so if we step on a mine that trips fortitude, like gas or something like that, we'll roll higher for that. I believe the saves are dictated by Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be Will, Fortitude, and Reflex, respectively. Anyway, that determines whether we get hit by mines or other kind of spell-type trap objects, I suppose, would be the best way to describe it. So, yeah, defense rating, making them harder to hit. That's the only part about this that I particularly care about, and I'm not so sure. I might even make Dexterity my dump stat. We'll see about that, though. Intelligence represents knowledge and reasoning. A high intelligence adds modifiers to the number of skill points a character has to spend on essential skills. So skills are kind of out-of-combat things for the most part that help you detect mines, open doors, disarm the mines, persuade, dialogue options, things like that. Again, it's going to go to 10 because I don't want any negatives, certainly. For now, and we'll see about that. It depends how much I'm going to value skills, I guess. Wisdom represents willpower and perception. A high wisdom adds modifiers to Jedi Force points and Jedi Force power saving throws. So better defenses against Force powers. That's important. The Force powers of a Jedi with high wisdom are also much harder to resist, so better resistance and better offensive capability because they have to roll against the wisdom modifier, I guess, and try and beat yours with theirs, and it'd be harder anyway. It's going to go to 10. I don't want to take any negatives for this. And Charisma represents personality and the ability to lead. A high Charisma adds modifiers to Force-related feats and powers that are very important to all Jedi classes. It is also central to any persuasive talker. Again, I'm going to go to 10 so we don't take any minuses. Incidentally, with everything at 10, I have 18 points remaining, but what is recommended here? Yeah, like, that is a fairly standard type build, I guess, and we might even leave strength at 16. I want to do a high amount of physical damage. I'm just not so sure that, that we need a +2 in dexterity. I don't think that's necessary. +1 should be good enough. Defense is important, but again, like, Constitution is better, basically. I really would like to have more points into intelligence, though, because this makes force-related feats and powers. Well, all powers are force-related. How exactly does that work? That's not a very good tooltip. Adds modifiers. Okay, what type of modifier? We know what this does. This affects the 2-hit of force powers, but this does what exactly? Does it make them more potent? Does it amplify the damage? Who knows? It doesn't say. Do I even want a +1 in dexterity? Do I? Do I even care about do I care about defense? I guess that's defense of everything, though. That's 2-hit on everything. I still want the intelligence, though, because I want a few extra skills. Ugh. Choices. Is the dexterity more important? I'm gonna be agonizing over this, you know. So we get a +3 in strength, we get a +2 in con, we get +1 in wisdom and intelligence, and +0 in charisma. I have to think about what exactly the character would be good at as well. Telemachus would be strong because he was military. He would be fast enough. Constitution would be good, again, because all of these are martial skills, and they are the highest for him. Maybe he's been in some chemical attacks during the Mandalorian Wars where he survived some gases or something, so his constitution is a little bit higher than his dexterity, which not particularly fast on his feet. Not any, you know, he's decent with a gun. He's way better with a sword, and because that's where he's been putting most of his training. And Constitution, he's fairly strong. He's conditioned from being in the military and working as a mercenary now. He's a pretty smart guy. He's got some wisdom. He's got some common sense. He's gained some of that, and charisma. He is a handsome guy, though, so I don't know. I gotta stop agonizing. I think that this is mostly good. I can't be. I'm trying my very best not to min-max, think about it in my head, but I think this is fine. That's fine. I'm content with that. That's gonna give us an extra skill point every time we level up than we would normally get. I think Guardians, if they have 10 intelligence, they get a default of 3 per level up. So this will give us 4, so we can potentially raise other things a little bit better. So skills. And here we go. So right now we have 8 points remaining. That's quite a lot for us to play with. Start with the most important skill, Persuade. It's only the main character. Related attribute is Charisma. Only the main character, player character, can select this skill during a level up. Persuade options appear in the dialogue when interesting or sensitive information is available that a character might otherwise be reluctant to reveal. When selected, the rank in this skill is compared with how extreme the request is, difficulty class, low, medium, high, relative to the player level, and a guard might easily agree to increase a bounty, but convincing him to leave his post would be much harder. So I'm going to raise that as high as it'll go, up to 4 to start with. And that leaves us with 4 points to play around with. So we have computer use. Computer use allows a character to slice programs using disposable logic RAMs called computer spikes. A character might disable gun turrets or flood a patrol area with more complicated tasks requiring more spikes. A high rank in this skill reduces the number of spikes required by 1 to a minimum of 1 for every 4 points total. So, including attribute score modifiers. This related attribute is intelligence. Charisma, we're not particularly good at charisma, but we're going to be speccing into persuade anyway because it's a necessary skill to have. Demolitions. Demolitions can be used to set, recover, disarm mines. So this is like just disable traps. Such devices are either of low, medium, or high skill level. Attempting to disarm a mine adds a +5 to the DC. Attempting to recover the mine adds +10 to the DC. This skill cannot be used untrained. So cannot disable mines without demolitions. Stealth. Attribute dexterity. Stealth governs the use of camouflage devices to enter stealth mode. If a character equips such a device and activates stealth mode, opponents must make an awareness check versus the character's stealth skill or be unable to detect them. Even if the character is in direct line of sight, a character in stealth mode can set, disable, and recover mines, use computers, and repair droids, and open doors or containers. Party members will not automatically enter combat while in this mode. Combat cancels stealth mode. Stealth mode will not work without a camouflage unit. Units of higher quality will grant a bonus to the skill. Not a super important skill, and it's not one that Telemachus will be spec'd into in this campaign. Awareness. This is detect traps, basically. So that's detect, this is disarm. Awareness governs the ability of a character to spot hidden enemies or objects. There's no hidden enemies in this game, but there would be if we were playing number 2. If a successful check of this skill is made against the stealth skill of an enemy or the DC of a mine, the enemy or object is noticed and becomes visible. Awareness is always active, but results are best when a character is moving slowly. Running imparts a -5 penalty to any checks of the skill. I actually didn't know this. I had forgotten about this, but I was reminded of it in Knights of the Old Republic 2. I'm watching a Let's Play of it currently as well, and it's in there as well. Now, the way skill points works in general is the only time you get pluses on your attributes to the modifier score is if you break the thresholds of 2. So we have 4 in Persuade, so that means we'll have a +2 to any Persuade checks that we make. So we get our DC 20 plus 2 plus 10, I think, since that's the charisma, and whatever the roll is after that, that'll determine whether we beat the persuade check. Repair. Repair allows again, attribute is intelligence. Repair allows a character to fix disabled mechanical devices like droids using disposable packages of parts. The number of part kits required increases the difficulty with the difficulty of repair. This skill reduces the number of parts required by 1 to a minimum of 1 for every 4 points total, including attribute score modifiers. The skill also modifies the amount of vitality points recovered whenever party member droids use repair kits. That doesn't matter for us because we're not a droid. Advanced repair kits and construction kits on themselves to repair combat damage. It's important for them, not for us. Security, the most useless skill in the game. Related attribute wisdom. Why that is, I have no idea. What does wisdom have to do with security? I don't know. Security is used to unlock doors, to access electronic locking devices. Once a character invests points in the skill, it becomes one of the default options on targeted doors and containers. Security spikes can grant a bonus to the skill, and any in inventory will also appear as a default option on targeted doors and containers. Characters with no points invested cannot attempt to use this skill. The most useless skill in the game is security because every door and every container in KotOR you can bash open without any negative effect. It'll take a long time, but it may come to a point where I just decide, I'm like, okay, I don't feel like sitting through episodes and episodes of me trying to bash through a door, so I'm just going to give myself a bunch of security points via the console and just say fuck it, but I'm not going to take it for now. We're going to see how well we do. And treat injury. Attribute is wisdom. Treat injury improves the amount of damage healed when a med pack is used, adding the modifying rank to the number of vitality points healed. Advanced med packs and life support packs apply multipliers to the user's skill, increasing the amount healed again. This is not going to matter much because eventually in the game, spoilers, you become a Jedi. I don't think that's a spoiler. The game is called Knights of the Old Republic. If you didn't figure we would wind up a Jedi eventually, I don't know what to tell you, but you get a force power called Force Heal, and this becomes pretty obsolete at that point. So really, treat injury and security are just off the list right away. We've done all we can into Persuade for now. Repair, there is a quest tied to repair specifically. However, it requires so many points to invest. I'm not sure we're going to be... I don't know if I can justify that. I may have to give myself the points just to show off that quest at some point, because I can't justify dumping everything into repair just for one quest. It's ridiculous. It's kind of bad game design in that sense. But anyway, we're going to focus kind of on the up here a little bit. We need to take demolitions because we need at least 1 point to be able to disarm the mines, basically, to get around them. And I'd like to be able to detect them too, and it might be the case where we just... I really like computer use, but again, it might just be the case that we do these two things for now. Demolitions and awareness, so we can spot mines and we can disable them. We won't be too good at using computers, and we won't be too good at using repairing things, but there are other party members that can do that for us that we're going to be picking up. Stealth I have no interest in as well, so that goes straight to heaven with treat injury and security. It's not going to be something I'm ever going to invest in, and possibly repair as well. Anyway, I've waffled on a long time. That's the gist of what the skills do. Let's move on to the next area. Feats, my favorite part. We're going to see if... Yeah. So, right away, this is going to be the first mod that you're going to be noticing. In default Knights of the Old Republic, vanilla, you would have skills pre-selected for you. You would get one skill choice, and now we have 9 points because there is absolutely nothing else invested here for us. It's taken all the feats that we would have had and given them back to us, except for light armor, because that's a character class skill. Soldiers get every class gets at least 1 feat by default to start with, and they have like it levels up as it auto levels as it goes along. But as a soldier, we can spec right into medium armor and then heavy armor. But we're gonna have to see what each of these do, and it's gonna take a while to go through. But bear with me. So, 2-weapon fighting. This feat reduces the attack penalty of a weapon character wielding a double-bladed weapon or 2 weapons, 1 in each hand. The normal penalties of -6 main hand, -10 offhand, are reduced by 0.4 to a total of -6/-6. Use of a balanced weapon in the offhand can further reduce the attack by 2.0, meaning to a total of -4/-6. And this goes down the further and further you go, so a total of, if you use a balanced weapon in the offhand, -2, -4, and then the mastery level of it is 0, -2. So your offhand will only ever be slightly worse than the main hand at the start. I'm not super into 2-weapon fighting. I tend to like one weapon more, so I'm going to avoid that skill tree probably. Next up is armor. This feat allows a character to wear light armor. Characters with this feat cannot wear light armor. Without this feat cannot wear light armor or heavier armor. Soldiers receive this feat for free. Wookiees and droids cannot wear armor suits. And this is the same. It allows us to wear medium armor and heavy armor respectively. I'm not sure yet. Caution. This feat gives a +1 skill point bonus to both demolitions and stealth. Never, ever, 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 ever pick feats that buff skills. Ever. Because you get far more skills in the game than you do feats. Trading a feat for skills is just a bad trade, no matter what way you slice it, so never ever pick those. Critical Strike. This feat doubles the critical threat range of melee attacks. If a weapon needs a roll of 20, a critical hit will result on a 19 or 20. If the attack hits, the target is also stunned for 6 seconds unless they make a fortitude save at a DC of the attacking character's level plus the attacking character's strength. Modifier, this feat lowers defense by -5 when used. That'd be really bad for us with our kind of, not crappy dexterity, but a little bit less. Only works with melee weapons. So, Empathy. Gives a +1 skill point bonus to Persuade, Awareness, and Treat Injury. That's the same deal as Caution, which gives Demolitions and Stealth. This just works for Persuade, Awareness, and Treat Injury. Not going to be picking that again. This is on the table for now. I'm not convinced, though. Flurry. This feat allows a character to make an extra melee attack during the round. Characters suffer a -4 to defense while using this feat, and for 3 seconds afterwards, i.e. a enemy's attack, they also suffer -4 penalty to all attacks that round. Okay. It gives us an extra attack per round, which could potentially make our... both these skills are melee weapon attacks, like specific attacks that you can use with them, like slightly upgraded versions. I like attacking twice. We're going to be taking that skill to start with. That gives us 8 left. We can't pick Improved Flurry or Master Flurry until later levels, but we're going to be going down that tree. I can guarantee you that. Because we are a melee weapons character, and that's just how it's going to go. Alright, Gearhead. Gives a +1 skill point bonus to repair, security, and computer use. Not interested. Conditioning. This feat provides a +1 bonus to all saving throws, reflecting the character's excellent physical conditioning. This is a possibility. I'm not sure so early in the game we're going to need this, but maybe down the line. This is not a bad one to have, because this will help us with any poisonings, grenades that are tossed our way, traps that are sprung, things like that, detections, not detections, I'm sorry, but could be useful. Implant level 1. This feat allows the use of level 1 cybernetic implants. They can be purchased throughout the galaxy and have a variety of effects, modifying attack rolls, attribute scores, etc. Only one implant may be used at a time. Scouts get this feat for free at first level. Very tempting. Implants are really good in this game. They can give you feats, they can give you skills, they can give you attributes. Yeah, for now, just provisionally, unless I see something else that I'm going to be wanting, we'll select that. Alright, so Power Attack adds a +5 damage to the next attack, but also a -3 to hit, used to quickly dispatch groups of easy-to-hit opponents. Only applies to melee weapons. So that's yet another of the 3 melee weapon attacks. So you have sort of the Power Attack, that's damage. Flurry is an extra attack, and Critical Strike is the chance to stun, basically. Power Blast, again, these are going to be the same, except they're for guns, so... Power Blast adds a +5 damage to the next attack. It's the same thing as this. It's literally just between ranged or melee. Rapid Shot. This feat allows a character to make an extra attack, so that would be the same as Flurry. And Sniper Shot would be the same as Critical Strike. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on any of those yet, but we'll see. So these are really important. If you were going to be playing with this mod installed, you need to have at least one weapon feat to begin with, because if you don't have that, then you're going to be in a world of hurt, because you'll be using your bare hands throughout the entire game. Usually these are pre-selected for you, like I said at the beginning of this, so you wouldn't have to select these. They'd all be selected as a soldier, I think. You get them all by default, so... I think, though, we're going to need melee weapons, because, like I said, that would be the feat that we start with. Also, another mod that's currently in place here. In the vanilla version of KotOR, the icons for the feats were broken. They were backwards. So you had these ones were here, and these ones were here, and it looked weird. So I downloaded a mod that fixes that. I think we also are going to want to have some type of ranged weapon as an option. So this is weapon proficiency blaster rifle, weapon proficiency blaster pistol, and weapon proficiency heavy weapons. I'm not going to pick any more than one of these in each of these feats, because again, feats are precious, and eventually we're not going to want that. We'll come back to this though. So toughness. Toughness. This feat gives the character 1 extra vitality point every time they level up, and this bonus is retroactive for all levels previously gained. Improved toughness. The character is very resilient. This feat subtracts 2 points from any damage suffered. The character retains the +1 vitality point. I could have swore that this regenerates. Character is further fortified. Additional +1 on each level up. Retroactive for levels previously gained. The +1 vitality point per level granted by toughness, and the 2-point physical resistance by improved toughness. Yeah, like I could have swore that that toughness regenerated you, but I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm thinking of some other thing. And then there's dueling. Dueling, characters that focus on using single one-handed weapons in battle gain a +1 to attack and a +1 to defense due to the efficiency of this form of combat. This applies to both ranged and melee weapons. And yeah, we're going to be taking that. +1 to attack and +1 to defense. That'll offset our other negatives from the lacking dexterity, we'll say, the lack of defense that we're going to suffer. So, okay, so that leaves us with 5 extra feats left over, and I have to think very carefully about what feats I'm going to want to dump into here. I think we're going to need some sort of ranged weapon attack just in case things get hairy and we don't want to mix it up in melee. So I think medium armor as well is going to be a thing we're going to take. And maybe even heavy armor. I'm just going to add it for now and see how that goes. Now, further down the line, heavy armor would have removed the ability for us to use our force powers. I've also installed a mod that eliminates that. It doesn't make sense to me why you're unable to use force powers with armor, or rather, while wearing armor. It just, why would you magically lose the force while you're in armor? It doesn't make any sense. So, I got rid of it, but I think I'm still going to wind up using a robe anyway, just because I like the way they look. So, we'll see about that, but I want the ability to wear all the armor in the game. We're going to need a ranged weapon. Do we want blaster pistols? Strictly speaking, blaster pistols do more damage than rifles, usually. Because you can have 2 of them, 1 in each hand. Do I just take all the weapon feats? Do I take power attack to have a little bit of variation between these? Choices. Happy with dueling, though. I feel like this is such a waste of 3 points, because I know I'm going to be using melee for most of the friggin' game. So Telemachus would know how to use each of these weapons, probably, especially blaster pistols and blaster rifles. Maybe there'd be an argument for not knowing how to use heavy weapons, but you know what? Yeah, we'll do this, okay? We'll add a feat to blaster pistols, a feat to rifles, and I'm going to take power attack as well. We don't have any upgraded blaster-focused feats, but I'm kind of okay with that for now, I think. I can always I can always pick one if we need it, but that's going to do it for now, I think. Alright, so, our name. That's the last step in this long, lengthy process, and it's going to be Telemachus Riken. I think that's how you spell it. Yeah. Okay. Telemachus Riken, soldier. He has a strength of 16, a dexterity of 12, constitution of 14, an intelligence of 12, a wisdom of 12, and a charisma of 10. He's got 12 health. He's got 11 defense. He's got a fortitude of 4. He's got reflexes of 1 and will of 1, so he's pretty buff, this guy. He's not particularly quick yet. He's not particularly willful yet, but that is it. And here we go, folks.